When you see that face, that pit bull terrier face on America's flags, and they claim that this is America's dog. Well, it wasn't a pit bull that was in the war. It was a pit bull terrier / Boston Terrier. And the dog's name was Sergeant Stubby. Very decorated dog. This is Sergeant Stubby, a pit bull terrier, American pit bull terrier, crossed to a Boston Terrier. If you ask me, Sergeant Stubby was the very first exotic to walk on the ground, except he was put together way better than an exotic. This is the result from a pit bull terrier crossed to a Boston Terrier. Had a brain. And if you own a puppy from off of one of the breedings from Sergeant Stubby, if he ever bred, you own a part of history. You own a part of history. See, the reason that Sergeant Stubby was called Sergeant Stubby, well, his name was Stubby, was because he didn't have no tail. He didn't even have a tail. But this dog was way back. Go way back to World War I. So he really had the bull and terrier in him because he was in the war. He was fighting. This dog had the bull and terrier in him, crossed to a Boston Terrier. This was Private James Conroy's dog right here. This was Sergeant Stubby, okay? When you see those pit bull terrier faces, I mean, I have to say so myself. When you see those faces and they got these hats on and they representing America and this is America's dog and they got that dog, the dog has a pit bull terrier face. How can that be America's dog when that wasn't the dog that fought for America? This was the dog that fought for America, Sergeant Stubby. That's why he's so decorated. He's one of the most decorated. He is the most decorated dog, for America. And America won't tell you that he was part Boston. He wasn't full pit bull. He was an exotic. He was a straight up exotic. Sergeant Stubby was exotic, but he had perfect feet. He had hawks. He just didn't have a tail. He had nice legs. He had a nice head. Sergeant Stubby was put together. He was really put together. This was America's dog right here. This is America's dog. The dog that fought in the war, World War I. This is him right here, Sergeant Stubby. They don't want to, you got to give dogs their props. The Pit Bull Terrier is America's dog. Sergeant Stubby is America's dog. And he is Pit Bull Terrier. But he's crossed the Boston Terrier too. That's why he got his name Stubby. Because he didn't have no tail. That's America's dog right there. And his name is Sergeant Stubby. One of the most decorated hound that you're going to find that fought for this country hands down. And done a very good job doing it. See, this is some awesome stuff right here for the bully community to know about the true dogs that came out and led the way. Sergeant Stubby was one of those dogs. This is the reason it's so important to label the dogs by the right name. To label the dogs the right way. That's not a Pit Bull Terrier. That dog was crossed to Boston Terrier. He got Pit Bull in him, but he was crossed to Boston Terrier. That's Sergeant Stubby right there. Instead of calling the American Pit Bull Terrier a new name, just call the dog what it is. That is a real true dog. Back in the days, they used to have like somewhere up to 6 fights in a day. In a single day around those times. They was having like 6 fights in a single day. And every walk of life, every single walk of life just loved it. Every single walk of life. Just like they love the dogs today. America did have a dog. And it was a pit bull terrier, but that pit bull terrier had a cross to it. And you can see right there, clear as day, that he looks like a Boston. In some shape, forms, and fashions, he looked like a pit. In some shape, forms, and fashions, he looked like a Boston. You don't really hear too many fans here talking about Sergeant Stubby. He wasn't a dog fighter. He wasn't a dog that was in the ring. He was in the war. He had two different fights. It was two different fights for this dog. He fought in the war. He fought for the country. He became America's dog. And in some shape, form, and fashion, you can say the Boston Terrier is America's dog too. It was part Boston. The dog is part Boston. With a stubby tail. That's why they called him Stubby. This dog, had a Staffordshire Terrier lineage too, didn't it? Well, is this one of the Staffordshire Terrier offsprings? Is this a Ryan offspring or a Ruffian offspring? This dog is old. World War I was a long time ago. And this was the dog that was in it in World War I. This is what the dogs looked like in World War I around those times. They were fighting dogs. Stubby just probably happened to be a dog that got free. I don't know how he got found roaming around on that college campus. And Private James Conroy found him. He ran up to the private. The private took him in. He couldn't go with the private because the private had to go I think he had to go board a boat. And he left the dog with somebody. And the dog found his way out and chased the private down to go get on that boat, snuck on the boat. They hid him. They hid this dog on the boat. And the boss came in and saw the dog. And the dog straight saluted. He raised his hand and saluted to the boss man. And they took him on the boat and he became one of them. The chefs didn't even want to feed him. They rebelled against the chefs. You gonna feed this dog because he one of us. That's Sergeant Stubby. That's America's dog right there, but America's dog was crossed with Boston Terrier. And that's a fact. It's right there in front of your face. But what else was he crossed with? I know one thing. He done a great job for the country. We salute Sergeant Stubby. Right here on Face the Bully. It used to be so many different people. Bringing so many different dogs down to these dog shows that they used to call dog shows. And these dogs were actually fighting. They were dog fighting shows. And sometimes these shows, the fanciers would say these shows would last 2 days or more. And they'd be up in there and they'd be fighting these dogs. Sometimes they have up to, 6 matches a day. You know what I'm saying? Fighting dogs. Fighting the bull and the terrier. And whatever else they could probably put into the program. They be there for days. I'm talking about different nationalities. They be up in there for days fighting dogs. I told you, the sheriffs, the outlaws, the mayors, everybody was up in there. Everybody was trying to get a piece. They was up in there fighting these dogs. These dogs had to make a name for themselves, and before they became a Staffordshire Terrier, they was pit bull terriers. And everybody was happy to have a pit bull terrier. Man, I'm telling you, they will walk a pit bull terrier in town and they'd be proud to tell you that this was a pit bull terrier. Because they know that they dog would eat your dog up. They know that dog would eat your dog up. But at the same time, why won't they call the dog from the Little Rascals by his name? Why won't you call the dog from the Little Rascals by his name? You know Petey was a pit bull. Why won't you call... Call the dog from the Little Rascals by his name. There go a bull and terrier right there. That's a bull and terrier. I mean, damn, these are old pictures. These are old pictures. I don't want nothing new. I don't want nothing new. I don't want to see your new dog. I know what a bulldog cross look like. I know what it look like. We know that. Ain't nobody crazy. We know what a bulldog cross look like. These are bull and terrier dogs. Those are bull and terrier dogs. They're extinct dogs. Okay, Sergeant Stubby was in the war. You know, he was part of bulldog history. Sergeant Stubby was in the war. These dogs right here are a part of bulldog history too, because they also was in a war. They didn't ask to be taken in them pits. They got took in there, and you know, throughout the years, their bloodline became what it is today. No dog asks, you know what I'm saying, for you to do something to them. But one thing about these dogs is they was taught to please their owners. They have that drive in them. That drive, that will to please their owners. But the Staffordshire Terrier wasn't the Staffordshire Terrier. The Staffordshire Terrier was the American Pit Bull Terrier. And they won't even call him by his name. But when they was fighting the hell out of these dogs, they was calling him by his name. Everybody wanted a bull. They was calling him by his name. Everybody wanted a bull. But they will not tell you what Petey was. Somebody told me. Well, it wasn't no somebody. It was Carrie Ann. She gonna sit here and tell me because I was sitting here messing with her. And I said, Snoopy is a Pit Bull Terrier. And she said, no, he's not. I said, yeah, he is a Pit Bull Terrier. No, he's not. He's a Beagle. So I let her ride with that one because she kind of smart too. You know what I'm saying? She'll get on me. You know what I mean? And try to go to war with me. You know what I'm saying? My girl go to war with me better than some of the guys do. But, you know, I had to leave her alone. But I still think Snoopy was a Pit Bull Terrier. But she said Snoopy was a Beagle. So I'm going to leave it as that. We're going to leave it as that. But these are the dogs right here. You won't even call them by their name. America won't even call them by their name. These are Pit Bull Terriers. But that's not the dog that was in the war. Might have been a dog that was in the war at some point in time. But, you know what I mean? We all know what's up with Sergeant Stubby. You know, the TV stars, you know what I'm saying, may have been the TV star dogs. Those might have been curs. You know what I'm saying? But we're still, you know what I'm saying, from Pit Bull stock. They were still from Pit Bull stock. You don't, I mean, do you even know what a cur dog is? Just because you don't see him go in the pit and cur out don't mean he ain't a cur dog. Sometimes you could have a dog around your house and he always tuck his tail. Or he always act like he's scared of you and you ain't even never beat on the dog. You ain't even never hit on the dog. That's a cur dog. He ain't got no pride. He ain't got no confidence. As soon as you put some food down there, the dog act like it haven't eaten in 1,000 years and it start attacking your other dogs. That's a cur dog. You know, sometimes it might even run. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what it is. These curs could still have made, you know what I'm saying, a nice dog. You could take a cur and make a nice dog with it because it still contains the bloodline. It still has that blood in it. It may not be a fighter dog like you want it to be, but it still got that blood in it. So if you take it and you throw it back to another cur with that blood, you're gonna come up with a beast along the line. You're gonna come up with a beast along the line. These are foundation dogs. The foundation was Pit Bull. And then it became Staffordshire Terrier when America took the dog and put a cross to it and made the dog bigger. Like they said, we wanted to make the dog bigger. I kind of like that white one on the end down there with that brindle on him and how stocky he is and how he looks like an American bully before American bullies were even born. See the blood runs deep. The blood lives, you know what I'm saying? It's all the way out there. Look at that dog. That's a bully before bullies were even out. Old school shit. The blood gonna do the talking. You don't have to do all the talking sometimes. The blood will do the talking. And you can see right there, that's a lot of terrier in that dog. Skinny dog, like my dog I got outside. Skinny dog, look at them ears. That's where them bat ears come from. They've been a part of the program. Look at them ears. Look at them snouts. 2 different snouts. One got a box snout, another one got a snipey snout. They got nice necks. I mean, man, I get to looking at dogs and get to tripping like y'all should be. And I know some of y'all do. I know some of y'all get to tripping on the looks of the dogs. See, when you shove too much bulldog up in there and mess up the program, then somebody got to talk about it. It's been too much bulldog shoved up in there, and they say the breed is evolving. The breed has changed into a different bulldog. It look like a bulldog now. It look like a bulldog. I like it. I mean, I ain't gonna sit here and say that I don't like the dog. I'm not the one that built the Razor's Edge dog, but I know what it looked like, so I'll be talking about how it, you know, it did do some evolving. If you ask me, it don't look nothing like the Edge used to look. Completely nothing like the Edge used to look. You can't see no ruffian in today's dogs. You can't see no Ryan in today's dogs. And most of the breeders don't even know what ruffian and Ryan is, and they don't even talk about it. Like I say, most of the breeders today claim they don't even want nothing to do with the old school dogs. They don't want nothing to do with the old school blood. They creating a whole new dog and calling it evolution when the dog came from these dogs. Truly, it came from these dogs. It should really stand up off the ground and have ankles and legs and pass turns and everything just like these dogs. Straight backs and long necks, pointy ears, some of them. Some of them ears fall down to the side. This is how the dogs, I mean, evolution, yeah, it took a big old turn. It took a big old turn on them dogs. Yes, sir. We really got to know that when World War I is spoken of, you know, when you speak of World War I, when you speak of that, and the claims are made that the American Pit Bull Terrier was the dog in that war, well, you know what? That's part true, because Sergeant Stubby was part Pit Bull Terrier. And that's Sergeant Stubby in the war, on the front line. But Sergeant Stubby was a 50-50 cross. Sergeant Stubby was a 50-50 cross, so it really ain't true. Really isn't true that it was a pit bull that was in World War I. The dog in World War I had a name, and decorated owner Private James Conroy gave it to him. He gave this dog a name. His name was Sergeant Stubby. And he didn't have no tail because he was part Boston Terrier. Did they tell you that America's dog didn't have a tail? How many of y'all really know America's dog didn't even have a tail? They got him posing as a pit bull terrier with a hat on, with the American flag. He strapped with the American flag. That ain't the dog. That's not the dog that was in the war. Sergeant Stubby was the dog that was in the war. That ain't the dog. The pit bull terrier wasn't the dog. He was part pit bull terrier. That's what he was. His name was Sergeant Stubby. It was said, there was a lot of things that was said about Sergeant Stubby. But see, a lot of people don't even know Sergeant Stubby. Y'all got these dogs around here and these little bitty dogs, and y'all don't know Sergeant Stubby. Why don't you know Sergeant Stubby, and why ain't you praising Sergeant Stubby and giving him his honors? If you like the pit bull community, if you like the Boston Terriers or the exotic community. The exotic community, really. Y'all should really be praising this dog, you know? the makeup of him. Pit Bull Terrier and Boston Terrier. You know, that was way back then. And even way back then, you know, the claims was being made that the fighting tendencies had been bred out. That's what the claims was being made, that the fighting tendencies had been bred out. But you see Sergeant Stubby, he went to war. He went to war. He had tenacity. It was still there. The tenacity, the will, his drive, it was still there. Even though he was mixed with the Boston. Even though he was mixed with the Boston. That's why his name was Stubby. So how is it that you claim you took out these fighting tendencies? How is it that you claim this? I ain't understanding it, because if the fighting tendencies were gone, then Sergeant Stubby should he should have been a cur, and he should have been killed in war. But he wasn't a cur. Remember that time Sergeant Stubby saw a spy in the bushes? And he ran over there and he got that and he sniffed him out, got the spy. They rewarded him for getting that spy too. He got a reward for that. He got a medal for that. Sergeant Stubby did. He got a medal for that. He was a bad dog. Yet and still, to me, he was the first exotic that you probably laid eyes on. You know what I'm saying? That's America's dog right there. When they tell you about America's dog, they talking about Sergeant Stubby. He had a athletic physique. He still had his head, but he had that look. You know what I'm saying? He had that bulldog, that Boston look. You know that Boston. Didn't the Boston come from the Frenchie? He had that bulldog off in him. 2 times bulldog. He was bred from bulldog, because the pit bull was bred from the bull and the terrier. The Boston was bred from the Frenchie. You know what I'm saying? 2-time bulldog jumping off up in that PG right there. You know, we could break down Sergeant Stubby too. Let it be known what Sergeant Stubby is. Give Sergeant Stubby his props, because the dog world ain't giving a real exotic his props. A real pit bull terrier his props. America's dog his props. There you go, Sergeant Stubby, the dog of war, man. The real dog of war that fought in the war. He deserved to be crowned. He deserved to have his own. He fought in the war, standing next to his master, Private James Conroy, looking just like a little Boston Terrier. See, that's the face. When y'all see America's dog, I don't know, man. Y'all might have y'all mixed opinion on this one. Y'all might have y'all mixed opinion. I know everybody don't think the same. I know everybody ain't got the same opinion. But when y'all see these claims of America's dog, and the dog being a pit bull terrier, to me, that's just a claim. That's just a claim. I mean, maybe you can show us a pit bull terrier in the war going crazy. Because right now, I'm just going to have to show you the dog that was in the war going crazy. The dog's name is Sergeant Stubby. I'm going to show you the dog that, helped America win a war. Taxidermed. He's taxidermed in a real museum right now. So everybody in the world can still come and see him. The real dog of war. The real dog that was in World War I. The real decorated pit bull terrier / Boston Terrier from the war. And his name was Sergeant Stubby because he didn't have no tail. He was put together properly. He had a brain. That's what he did do. He knew how to salute. He used to salute. He earned his rank and way on the boat by saluting. Not by standing on the table or sitting there doing some old funny dance or twisting in circles. No, he already knew what he was ready to do. Go serve this country. Boston Terriers serve countries too. See, but he wasn't full Boston, but he had Pitt off in him. But y'all got to know, man, this was a 50-50 cross. And there goes his owner right there, Sergeant Private James Conroy. Decorated man. Served this country. Thank you, Mr. Conroy. You know what I'm saying? This is America's dog. Sometimes the truth just never is told, and it's never told the right way. The truth can't be told the right way. Why didn't you tell us America's dog was a 50-50 cross and everybody got to dig for this information? But you want to know what? They say if you want to hide something from somebody for the rest of their life, they'll never find it. Where's the best place to hide it at? Just put it in the book. They'll never think to look there. If you want to hide something from somebody, just go on and put it in the book. Because certain people don't read. You'd read, you'd already knew that America's dog wasn't a pit bull dog. Sergeant Stubby is not a pit bull. He taxidermed in the museum right now for fighting in World War I. So the tenacity was still there. The drive was still there. We didn't breed nothing out. Thought you was breeding it out. That's why he got out and ran away. Ended up on the college campus, and he got found by that man right there. Private James Conroy. And he lived a life in the war, serving America. Not in the ring. So salute to the real dog of war, America's real dog, Sergeant Stubby. And can't nobody say nothing different. It is what it is. It's the truth. He was decorated. Looked just like a little blue Boston. He was decorated, Sergeant Stubby. He was decorated. Good dog. They came to hit America with the mustard gas. So they had to make Sergeant Stubby a mask for his face. Sergeant Stubby woke up all the Americans and alerted them that the Germans were on their way, and the Americans was over there sleeping. They didn't even know that the Germans was on their way with the mustard gas, but Sergeant Stubby could smell it. And he smelt these planes coming, and he woke up everybody. He was nipping at them and biting at them. They thought he had lost his mind, but he was getting them up. And just in the nick of time, here they come with that mustard gas, and he got them all up and they ran off. He saved them. He saved our troops. See that mustard gas mask they made for him? That's Sergeant Stubby right there wearing his mask. Serving America. Ain't no other dog did that. Yeah, he's part pit bull, but I don't think a pit bull did that. It was a pit bull cross to a Boston that did that. And that dog had a name. His name was Sergeant Stubby. And he had an owner. And his name was Private James Conroy. Sergeant Stubby right there, America's dog. Real facts, y'all. Real facts. Now you might want to, give me your 2 cents on how you feel about that. But that's the way I feel about it. Sergeant Stubby is America's dog. He's the dog that's taxidermed right now for you to go see in the museum. He's the dog that's decorated. He's the dog that fought for this country. You can't take that from him. He did that. And it ain't no way you can take it back. America, will not tell you all the truth. They will tell you parts of the truth. So they got you thinking that a pit bull terrier was the dog of war. He's a dog of war. He is that, but he is not Sergeant Stubby. He's part Sergeant Stubby. The other part was Boston Terry. Salute Sergeant Stubby. That's Sergeant Stubby right there wearing his gas mask in the war. World War I.